Hi there, this short video is about a simple MP3 player which I got for my mother to use in a care home to listen to audiobooks. She struggles to read these days with her eyesight, and the television in her room is a Samsung Smart TV which even I struggle to work, so what chance has she got with it? So I thought, what can I give her that she can listen to or watch during the day? Well, she used to have the young boy from next door round to read Paddington stories to her. And I had a free promotional CD from a newspaper with some Paddington stories on. So I took it in with a portable CD player for her to listen to it on. But really it wasn't ideal because the CD player had too many buttons and she could easily accidentally open the lid and things like that, or drop it on the floor and it would break. So I thought what I really need is a simple MP3 player which restarts where you left off if you stop playing. So there are several different ones available on eBay which generally look much the same. This one is all taped up ready to give her. I've taped over the micro SD card slot on the side, and I've also taped the cover for the USB connector on. So it's got a USB-A connector under this cover here. I've also put some tape over her name and telephone number there so you can't see it. So it's a very simple device. As I said, it's got a micro SD card in the side, hasn't got any inbuilt memory. On the back it's got an on-off switch, which is slightly awkward, people say in the review. You have to sort of slide it with your fingernail. And when you slide it open, it reveals two LEDs underneath, a red and a green LED, which I'll come on to later. So to upload MP3s onto it, you either can obviously put the card directly into the computer if it's got a card reader, or you plug this in, turn it on, and then a recorded voice says PC mode, and it appears as a drive letter on your Windows PC. On the front we have the controls, which are very simple, or you think they are. There is a bit more to it than it looks. The plus and the minus control the volume, and the middle one plays and pauses the track, and then obviously you've got skip back and skip forward, which you press momentarily to change the file you're listening to, or you press and hold to skip through the track at high speed. And then we've got a standard 3.5mm stereo jack socket in the end for earphones. It didn't come with any instructions, just came in a jiffy bag with some simple earphones which I'm not using. I've got some over the head ones for her to wear, which are a bit easier than sticking things in your ears when you've got hearing aids in. Now the big problem I had with this was trying to get the files to play in the correct order, because I bought on eBay a large collection of Paddington CDs. What does it say? 11 hours worth. Well, 4 of the stories she's already heard because they're on the free CD, but there's still a massive amount on there for her to listen to. But each story is typically divided into between 4 and 6 tracks on the CD. So when you rip the CD using Windows Media Player, you get several MP3 files for each story. And so it's important they play in the right order. She's not going to have to bother with skipping tracks and things. And it was unclear to me what order they were playing in, because most of them were playing in the right order, but some of them weren't. I put on a separate SD card a few song files, so they were more easily identifiable, to try and see what order they played in. They seem to play in reverse chronological order from newest to oldest, but this didn't really fit in with what I'd seen on the CDs I'd ripped. So I then tried various solutions, and the simple solution I found was to create a number of folders on the SD card named 001, 002, etc., with a single MP3 file in each of them. And then it seemed to play them in the correct order, and then it stopped playing them in the correct order. And this was because I'd been playing with the buttons, because I'd read on eBay somewhere that some of these, generally the documentation's pretty bad, but some of them it mentioned that you could get it to repeat or randomize the tracks by pressing and holding various buttons down. And I think I must have turned on random by mistake. Anyway, I did find some instructions, or this picture on the eBay listing, for a slightly different device. This one's got rather an easier on-off switch on the side. Some of them also, another variation I've seen is some of them have instead of having the USB-A, they have a mini or micro USB next to the memory card slot. Anyway, these instructions say that if you press and hold the middle button, it changes folders, and that worked. If I had multiple files in folders, then pressing and holding that changed the folder without playing through. It usually plays sequentially through all the files in each folder in turn. But if you press and hold that, it goes on to the next folder. So that's the play pause is used to switch folders. And then according to the instructions, and it works, if you long press the volume up, it turns random play mode on. And this is where, by experiment, I found out these different play modes indicated by the LEDs. So normally with repeat track off and random off, you get a flashing blue light as the MP3 plays. If you turn random on by pressing and holding volume up for a long time, a few seconds, you then get a flashing red light. That means that random mode is on. If you press and hold volume down, it turns on repeat one track, which is indicated by both the lights flashing, the red and the blue one. And then you turn off repeat one track by pressing and holding again, and it goes back to just the blue one flashing. So you can't have random and repeat single track on at once. So that is how you know what mode you're in. If you turn it off and on again, it plays back. It starts playback from where it left off, even if you're halfway through a track. So that's really good for an audiobook, listening to audiobooks. What else? Oh, if you leave it paused for more than a few seconds, probably about 20 seconds, I didn't time it, it will then say through the headphones something like power off, and it turns the power off as a sort of energy saving thing. This is rechargeable via the USB socket. The instructions I've seen online say that you shouldn't leave it plugged in for more than 3 hours, or it will damage the battery for recharging. And that's about all there is to it, really, I think. Thanks for watching.